If you're wondering whether or not you should update to the latest driver 536.23, this video is for you. Because in today's video, I'm going to be comparing 536.23 versus 535.98. So sit down, strap in, let's go. Before we get started with today's video, can you just head over to my YouTube page, Laptop Tweaking Tips. If you're not subscribed as of yet, please go hit that subscribe button. And to those of you that are already subscribed, just make sure that you got the notification bell on as well, so that whenever I drop a new video, you are notified. At that, let's get to the video. So guys, before I even compare the drivers, I'm going to post a link to this in the description of the video. It's the GeForce Game Ready driver forum. So any problems that do exist with the driver that was just released, you're always going to find it in this forum. And look, there's some stock standard issues that were present in the previous driver. They say they're fixed flickering, but people still getting flickering. But this is mainly for people that gaming on desktop, with external monitors using G-Sync. For us laptop users, not so much of a problem. But I have found that a way to circumnavigate this, if you do use this or the previous driver, is to go into, okay, so for me, I've got Opera GX, so I'd go to my settings, and then I drag it down to the bottom, go to advanced, where is it? Okay, and then go right to the bottom then, and just switch off hardware acceleration. I actually did include this in the previous video of mine. Hardware acceleration clashes with this setting over here for gaming. When you actually switch on hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, if you got it enabled in your Windows settings, I highly recommend you switch it off in your browser, in Discord, wherever else you may find hardware acceleration. You just need Windows to manage it. So by switching this off in the browser, that does seem to nullify the issue of flickering mostly. But also I see that in the driver description, how can I see this now? In the driver description here, open issues. Increase in DPC latency observed in latency mon. So this was also a problem in the previous driver. But I see that they haven't fixed this, and as you're going to see just now, this current driver actually performs worse than 535.98. So not only have they not fixed DPS latency, they also screwed with the performance, which is always a buzzkill. But okay, so let's just get to the results. So all my games are tested at medium settings. With the exception of Returnal, my computer's under spec for Returnal, so I'll play on low settings with FSR set to balanced. And then because I play Resident Evil 4 Remake a lot, I don't mess with the settings. I just use the settings that I use in-game, which is a combination of medium, high, and low, and with FSR set to balanced. But everything else is set to medium, and where FSR 2.0 or 2.1 is available, I use the quality setting. Guys, my computer is running out of space, so I can't add any new games. I play mainly single player, open world, third person games. Some may even call me a modern gamer. I like pretty things. I don't like multiplayer, online, battle games. And unfortunately, I don't have space, so I can't actually include anything just yet. So subscribe and watch my videos, and I can maybe buy a big hard drop. And then lastly, so I just want to say, so your results may vary if you play online or multiplayer games. If you play online or multiplayer games, I still recommend 528.02, not any of these two latest drivers. But if you like me, you play offline, single player, 535.98 is still your baby. And then lastly guys, I test on GTX. I test on a GTX 1650 laptop. I've never owned an RTX laptop or RTX graphics card. So if you're going to ask me for recommendations for those type of cards, I can just tell you what I've seen and heard, not what I've experienced myself. But enough talking, let's get to the results. So for 535.98, which I still to this day very much love because I play single player games, I added up all my average FPSs, and then over 10 games, my average FPS, or my total FPS was 730, divided by 10, and my average FPS per game is 73. You might be thinking this is a little bit higher than normal. Yes, because I've been experiencing issues with The Last of Us, so I actually took it out of my benchmark, and The Last of Us has very low FPS, so it normally skews the average FPS. So because I added in the game where I get higher average FPS, everything looks higher. And then when I added up all the 1% lows, I got to a total 1% low over 10 games of 561 divided by 10, and my average 1% low per game is 56.1, which is a fairly decent result. When I divide the 1% lows by the average FPS, the stability for 535.98 was 76.85%, which is a phenomenal result. Out and out, for single player games, offline games, this is your baby. This is the best driver this year in terms of raw performance, but it does have a DPS latency issue, so that's why I try to recommend it to people that play online games. And that brings us to our latest driver, 536.23. From my initial split screen comparison, it actually looked pretty good, but when I tested it in terms of raw performance, it's actually a step back. So I added up all the average FPSs, and then my total FPS over 10 games was 727 divided by 10, so my average FPS per game was 72.7. Not a major slip back, but it is slightly less than 535.98. The place where there really is quite a big difference is the 1% lows. Some 1% lows are either equal or slightly more, but most of them are actually quite a bit lower than 535.98, and that's why I can't recommend the latest driver, because it's got latency and it's got worse performance. So when I add up all the 1% lows, my total 1% lows over 10 games was 542, sorry. And when I divide that by 10, my average 1% low per game is 54.2. So you can see there's on average, there's 2 FPS lower on the latest driver compared to 535.98. So that's not great. So when I divide the 1% lows by the average FPS, my stability percentage for this driver is 74.55%. So guys, you can see 535.98 is more than 2% more stable than the previous driver. It's got much better 1% lows. It's got much better average FPS. Latest driver, it's still got a DPS latency issue. It's not worth it. And for this reason, I'm not even going to compare this driver to 528.02. I compared my favorite driver, 535.98 with 528.02. But this driver, it's not even worth it. Guys, I really don't recommend you upgrade to 536.23. If you play single player games like me, stay on 535.98. But if you play online multiplayer games, still recommend 528.02. It's got great latency and it's still got very good 1% lows. And then just as mentioned in the beginning of this video, I will put this link to the Game Ready driver forum. So you just got that on file and you can check that out in the future. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section. If you're still watching and you're not subscribed as of yet, now's the time to do so. Guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day. It's people like you. Cheers.